Hi, I'm Serena Simmons and welcome to 8 Model Psychology. Today we're going to be looking at what's stopping you from being in action. Now, being in action is a fundamental part of the 8 Model. It's the first module in the performance section. This is where we actually start to put everything in place and actually start to move our body and start to physically move forward. So what's interesting about this part of the model is that this is where many people fall down. It's like there's a big block that actually stops people from moving forward, and there's actually quite a lot of fear associated with being in action. So what we're going to do to make sense of that is to look at 3 clear profiles of person that you might identify with if you sometimes feel that you are stuck and you just can't move forward. Number 1, those stuck in Research Central. If you are someone who is stuck in Research Central, you have all the lovely books on your shelf. You've done all the courses. You've maybe even invested in a real life coaching program or paid for an online course. You maybe even have that spangly gym membership. They're stuck in researching all the things they need to move forward. What's really interesting is when you look at the 8 model, a lot of the first part of the model is about thinking and processing and getting things in place. And actually, people who like Research Central like being in that place because that's really their comfort zone. You get really excited about the courses that you can do, and you love to sign up for free blogs and free podcasts and kind of online communities and memberships. The sad fact is that you may have also paid for a lot of coaching, but maybe what you realise is that you didn't really feel that you were getting much back from the coaching. But actually, when you look back on it, maybe you were the kind of person who didn't do what was required of them. So you didn't engage with the homework or the tasks that you should have done. If you're this kind of person, in many ways you're ticking boxes, you're kind of doing all the right things or things that you think you need to do to move forward. And like I said, you may have even gone to the lengths of actually paying for coaching or paying for that spangly gym membership, but that is really just ticking the box. It may be that you don't really engage much with the process, but it's almost like you feel like you'll take it all on board by osmosis. Those in Research Central are actually quite afraid of actually putting into practice all of the things they've learned. And sometimes that comes from being just overwhelmed with the amount of information that they've taken on board. Profile number 2, you like to tell others what to do. This takes a huge amount of self-awareness to identify as this kind of person. If you like to tell others what to do, what I mean by that is you may also have a little bit of that first profile of person, so the Research Central. In other words, you've read a lot of books and over time you've assimilated and gathered a lot of information from a lot of different sources and a lot of different people. You feel that you have knowledge in lots of different kind of areas, but the truth be told, you appear really on face value to be a jack of all trades and a master of none. They don't really feel like they've identified their purpose or their big why. So what they do instead is they kind of just spend all of their time telling everyone else what to do or what they could do. If you don't identify with being this yourself, maybe you know of other people who fit this profile. I actually know a couple of people like this, and the kind of things I'll do is I'll do things like tell me how to run my business when in actual fact they've never had a business of their own. What's really interesting is what's underlying this facade, because that's essentially what it is a whole heap of fear. You see, often when we tell others what to do, it's because we don't really know what to do ourselves, unless of course we've got the experience and the skills and we've had the practice in that area. There's a great fear attached here to actually putting yourself on the line and actually doing something for yourself and being brave enough to try something. And as Theodore Roosevelt said, credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena. Profile number 3, apathetic people. I have a particular passion for this group of people because it's one of the driving forces behind apathy. You see, a lot of people on face value seem to be apathetic and to some degree just really quite lazy about doing anything or being in action. Now, admittedly, some of those people may well just be lazy, but I think there's a little bit more going on than that. See, I happen to think that if you are feeling apathetic about being in action, that a great deal of that actually has to do with feeling overwhelmed. Again, maybe you've read the books and you've done the courses and you've paid for coaching, but also you may well feel bombarded by what's going on in society. Every day we see stuff on Facebook and we see stuff on social media and on the media, and there's so much that we feel that we need to live up to and the expectations that are put on us to be perfect from the outset. So if you can relate to any of these profiles that I've put forward today, there is so so much you can do to actually start to be in action, which will get you to where you want to be. So I'm going to share 3 quick tips with you that you can implement immediately that will have you start to get clarity and focus and hopefully start to move your body and move forward. The first thing I'm going to get you to do is to actually write down the costs and the benefits to staying as you are. In other words, just take the example of being in Research Central. If you identify with this profile, you know that that's the kind of thing you do. What is the cost of staying there? So what does it cost you to just keep doing these things? The cost might be that you just never actually reach the goals that you've set for yourself. Also, look at the benefits of staying where you are. For example, with the same profile, a benefit might be that you get to stay very, very safe. You get to keep really comfortable by just continuing to buy the books and do the courses, which kind of tricks you into feeling like you're doing something to achieve your goals. Tip number 2 is to move your body. Now, what I mean by this is moving your body is known to have a huge impact on your psychology. This is literally about moving your body and physically being in action. Physically moving your body is known to have a hugely positive impact on your state. That's why things like dancing and doing crazy things like bungee jumps and just generally moving your body has that huge impact on your emotions and your feelings. That in itself can help you start to think differently and relate differently towards actually physically being in action. So I really encourage you just to start physically almost forcing yourself out of a chair and into physical action to change that state. The third thing I'm going to say is fail. What I mean here is you need to physically try things and fail at them and then rinse and repeat the process. Only by doing that do you get that feedback loop to know what actually works or what doesn't work. Now, I'm not going to spend too much time here because embracing failure is a whole module in the evolve part of the model. We are all about embracing failure as a way to actually evolve yourself. In 8 model, we share lots more around strategy to help you physically be in action, and that involves things like actually scheduling things and looking at your time. We look at emotions and the role that emotions and the emotional blocks that you might have play in your ability to move forward, and we also look at those pesky habits amongst so many other things. So do stick around because you will get so much more information that will actually help you start to shift and move forward and get closer towards your goals. I hope that you found today useful. I would love for you to comment below and let me know about any of the things that you have picked up from today or other simple strategies that you might like to share. Remember, if you like what you've seen, please click on the link to subscribe, and that way you can get this in your inbox every single week. See you later.